Hare Krishna, Rup.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Okay, so welcome you everyone this evening for our Srimad Bhagwatam systematic class. Okay, so I'll share the screen with you. Today we'll begin with text 9 of Canto 1, chapter 9, text 9. Okay, let me share. You can all see it. Okay, Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 1, and chapter 9, passing away of Bhismadev in presence of Lord Krishna. And today we'll begin from text 9. Okay. So let us chant our Mangalacharna prayer quickly, short Mangalacharna prayer. If you know, you can all recite with me also. Om Ajnanatimira Andasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshura Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Guruve Gaura Chandraya Sri Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratu Se Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So now all of you please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Can't hear you. You on mute? You can unmute yourself. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya
Nanda Gopal Kumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Very good. So we'll begin today's verse. If you all can see in the screen there is a Devanagari Lipi and English also. Whatever you can follow. Tan Sametan Mahabhagan
Tan sametan mahabhagan
Upalabhya Vasuttamaha
pulak
Upalabhya Vasuttamah
Pujayamasa Dharmogno
Pujayamascha
asmadharmagno
Dharmagyo
Deshakala Vibhagavit.
Deshakara Vibhagatvit.
Very good. So let one more time and then you can recite. Tan sametan mahabhagan
Tan sametan mahabhagan
upalabhya vasuttamaha
upalabhya vasuttamaha
pujayamasa dharmagno
pujayama
Pujayamasa Dharmagna
desakala vibhagavit.
Deshakala Vibhagavit.
Very good. So who can recite first?
Rishabh.
Okay,
Go
Rustam, go ahead.
Okay, me. Tan sametan mahabhagan upalapya vashuttamaha pujayam asya dharmagno deshakala vibhagavet.
Very good.
Tan sametan mahabhagan upalabhya vasutamaha pujayam asa dharmagnya deshakala vibhagavet.
Very nice. Okay, who is next? Manhar?
Govinda.
Yeah. Okay,
Tan
Govinda.
sameta mahabhaga aplada vahasvataha prajyan asa dharmagyo desa kalvihagyataha.
Very good. Okay, Manhar.
Okay. Tan sametan mahabhagan uplabhya vasotamaha pujayam asa dharmgyano deshakala vibhagavet.
Very good. Go, Nihal. Is Nihal there? He should be. He logged in first. Nihal, are you there? Nihal. Okay, who else is here? Anybody else join new? Samriddhi? Samriddhi, where are you? Nihal, where are you? Can you unmute yourself?
Prabhuji, Nihal is not in the meeting.
Okay, he's not in the meeting. Okay, how about Samriddhi? Okay, I think she may be muted or whatever. Okay, so let's move forward and we do word-to-word translation, synonym. Who can do that? Manhar, you want to do it? Manhar, go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji. Tan, all of them. Sametan, assembled together. Mahabhagan, all greatly powerful. Uplabhya, having received. Vasuttamaha, the best among the Vasus. Bhishmadev. Pujayam, Asa, welcome. Dharmagyanaha, one who knows
Dharmagnaha. You pronounce gnaha. Dharmagnaha.
Dharmaganaha, one
Okay.
who knows religious principles. Deshaha, place. Kala, time. Vibhagavit, one who knows the adjustment of time and place.
Very good. So Bhishmadev being Dharmagna, he's a religious person. He know how to, he's on the bed of arrows. But let's see how he welcome him. You'll be surprised to know. Okay, translation. Okay, Rishabh, can you read the translation?
Yes, Prabhu. Bhishmadev, who was the best amongst the 8 Vasus, received and welcomed all the great and powerful rishis who were assembled there, for he knew perfectly all the religious principles according to time and place.
Very good. So Bhishmadev is one of the 8 Vasus. Okay, 8 Vasus are part of the demigods that we have in our Hindu religion. Okay. So, Pratyush, can you read the purport?
Yes, Prabhu. Expert religionists know perfectly well how to adjust religious principles in terms of time and place. All the great acharyas or religious preachers or reformers of the world executed their mission by adjustment of religious principles in terms of time and place. There are different climates and situations in different parts of the world, and if one has to discharge his duties to preach the message of the Lord, he must be expert in adjusting things in terms of the time and place. Bhishma Dev was one of the 12 great authorities in preaching this cult of devotional service, and therefore he could receive and welcome all the powerful sages assembled there at Prabhu, can you go down a bit? Um, his deathbed from all parts of the universe. He was certainly unable at the time to welcome and receive them physically, because he was neither at his home nor in a normal healthy condition. But he was quite fit by the activities of his sound mind, and therefore he could utter sweet words with hearty expressions, and all of them were well received. One can perform one's duty by physical work, by mind, and by words, and he knew well how to utilize them in the proper place, and therefore there was no difficulty for him to receive them.
Although physically unfit. Yeah. Why he was physically unfit?
Because he was on deathbed and he wasn't at home, or he wasn't he unhealthy condition, so he couldn't do anything
Yeah.
with
Why he
physically.
was in unhealthy condition? What happened to him?
He was he was on his deathbed, so he couldn't really move or do
What is
anything.
that deathbed made of?
Arrows.
Arrows. Yeah. So he was in arrow bed, was really in a painful situation in one sense, How would you feel if you are, sleeping on a bed of arrows? So it's kind of, so in the previous verse, we knew so many sages, religionists, and came, there we have read uh, each and every one character that came over there. So this verse tell you how he received them, even though he was not in a proper condition to welcome them. Okay, so I want somebody, let me say, Manhar, can you say two things about it from the purport?
Like he was on he was in a condition that he could not he was not at his home, and I forgot the other thing where he was not at, and he was one of the 12 great authorities in preaching, like he was one of the 12 great authorities, and that basically means he was one of the 12 Mahajans, right?
Yeah, very good. So that 12 Mahajan, we already learned that, right? Anybody remember 12 Mahajan? Okay, Gopal.
I don't know all of them.
Anybody remember the names of 12 Mahajan?
I know Bhishma and Narada.
Yeah, one of them is Bhishma, Narada, okay.
Pali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj, correct. Swayambhu Manu, Swayambhu
Oh yeah, and the four Kumaras.
The four
Brahma,
Kumaras.
Manu, Lord Shiva,
The four Kumaras.
yeah, Kumaro, Kapilo, Manu, very good. Four Kumaras, Kapil, Bhagwan, Manu, Pralado, Janako, Bhismo. Janak Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say who is left here? Sam, Prakash, Gopal, Manhar. Gopal, can you say two things about from this paragraph about Bhismadev?
He was also devotional.
Okay. He was a devotee of the Lord.
he could receive the most powerful sages,
Okay.
and he had normal head condition.
Very good. Okay, let's see what happens in the next verse now. Go to number 10. Okay, please recite after me. Okay, here we go. Krishnam cha tat bhavagna.
Krishnam cha tat prabhavagnya.
Krishnam sa tat prabhavagna.
Krishnam sa tat prabhavagnya.
Asinam jagadishwaram.
Asinam jagadishwaram.
Radhistham pujayamasa.
Radhistam pujayamasa.
Mayayopata vigraham.
Mayayopata vigraham.
One more time. Krishnam cha tat prabhavagna.
Krishnam cha tat prabhavagnya.
Asinam jagadishwaram.
Asinam jagadishwaram.
Radhistham pujayamasa.
Radhistam pujayamasa.
Mayayopata vigraham.
Mayayopata vigraham.
Okay, it's your turn to recite now. One by one, everyone should do it.
Okay, Prabhu, I'll go first.
Okay.
Krishnam cha tat prabhavagnya. Asinam jagat ishwaram. Hridistha pujayam asa maya pata
Mayayopata vigraham.
Mayayopata vigraham.
Very good. Next, Pratyush.
Yes, Prabhu. Krishnam cha tat prabhavagnya asinam jagadishwaram hridisthan pujayamasa maya yopeta vigraham.
Very good. Manhar.
Okay. Krishnam cha tat prabhavagnya asinam jagadishwaram Riddhi stham pujayam asaha mayayopata vigraham.
Very good. Gopal.
Krishnam chatvam pravajina asnim jagat ishwaram vidhi satam purma asa maya potya vriha aham
Vigraham.
vigraham.
Okay, very good. Anybody else there? Anybody join you? Okay. All right. So let's read. Gopal Govinda, can you read this word to word translation? Gopal. Begin from here. Krishnam. Gopal, can you hear me?
Oh, Krishna unto Lord Krishna, cha
Okay.
also that of him,
Tut,
Pravajana,
not that. This is tut.
thought of him, Pravajana,
Prabhavagnaha.
the owner of
The
the glories,
Lord
Bhishma,
of the glories.
Asinam, sitting, Jagat, Ishwaram, the Lord of the universe, Riddhi Satham,
Situated in the heart.
the heart, Prajugya,
Pujayamasa.
Asa, worship, Maya, Aya, by the eternal
Potency.
potency, Apatya, manifested,
Upata.
Upata, manifested, Vigraham, a form.
Very good. Okay, Manhar, can you read the translation?
Okay, Prabhu. Lord Sri Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, yet he manifests his transcendental form by his internal potency. This very Lord was sitting before Bhishmadev, and since Bhishmadev knew of his glories, he worshipped him duly.
Very good. So Lord Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. That is also stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 61, where Sri Krishna says, Hridayasya Arjuna Tisthati, So Krishna is in everyone's heart. Okay. Rusab, can you read the purport?
Yes, Prabhu. The Lord's omnipotency is displayed by his simultaneous presence in every place. He is present always in his eternal abode, Golok Vrindavan, and still he is present in everyone's heart and even within every invisible atom. When he manifests his eternal transcendental form in the material world, he does so by his internal potency. The external potency or the material energy has nothing to do with his eternal form. All these truths were known to Sri Bhishmadev, who worshipped him accordingly.
Very good. So he is in everyone's heart. So in what form he is in everyone's heart? What is he called in the heart?
Paramatma.
Paramatma. Very good. So we are Atma and he is Paramatma. And how is he present in his abode, which is his Dham, Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan? What form he has?
He is Krishna.
Lord Krishna, two-handed with Murli, right?
No,
Flute.
four-handed.
Four-handed is in Vaikuntha Dham.
Oh,
Golok Vrindavan Dham is always two-handed.
yeah.
But in Vaikuntha planet, he is at four-handed, like Narayan form, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. In all these forms, he has four-handed form. But Golok Vrindavan Dham is always with two hands and with flute. Okay. So let's say, Rusab, you want to tell two things from this purport? That
Like he's like he is in every soul. Krishna is in every soul, and he is Paramatma because he resides in your heart and Golok Vrindavan. Yeah, I think that's it.
He's also within every invisible atom. Atom is a very small particle, you cannot see it, but still he is there. Right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. All right. Anybody would like to say something about this paragraph?
Krishna has the internal and external potency,
Very good.
and the external is the material energy, but the and has to do it deals with the material world.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, Krishna has so many energies, but there are three prime energies. And you already said two of them: external, internal, material, spiritual. What is the third one? Very prominent. Have you heard about neutral or marginal? Marginal or neutral? And who are under that category? We are all jivas under that category. So Lord Krishna has material energy with which he manifests material world. He got spiritual energy, call it internal energy. He manifests spiritual world. and he got a neutral energy, marginal energy. Tatastha, also it can be said in Sanskrit, Tatastha energy, marginal energy, which is all jivas. We are also manifestation of himself. So these are three main energy. Actually, there are so many divisions of this energy, but all these categories are grouped into these three main categories. Okay. All right. So let's move to the next one. Okay. 11. Now what he says here. Panduputran upasinam.
Panduputran upasinan.
Panduputran upasinam.
Panduputran upasinan.
Prasraya prema sangatan.
Prasraya prema sangatan.
Prasraya prema sangatan.
Rasaya prema sangatan.
Prasraya. Prasraya prema sangatan.
Rasaya prema sangatan.
Very good. Abhyachastanuraga. Right.
Abhyachastanuragasar.
Abhyachastanuragasrai.
Abhyachastan uraga shreya.
Andhi bhutena chaksusa.
Andhi bhutena chakshusha.
Very good. One more time. Pandu putran upasenan.
Panduputran upasinan.
Prasraya prema sangatan.
Prasraya prema sangatan.
Abhyachastanuragasrai.
Abhyachastanuragasar.
Andhi bhutena chaksusa.
Andhi bhutena chakshusha.
Very good. So let's say who can read these synonyms?
I can read for you.
Okay.
Pandu, the late father of Maharaj Yudhishthir and his brothers. Putran, the sons of. Upasinan, sitting silently nearby. Prashraya, being overtaken. Prema, in feelings of love. Sangatan, having gathered. Abhyachasta, congratulated. Anuraga, feeling. Ashraya, by tears of ecstasy. Andhibhutena, overwhelmed. Chakshusha, with his eyes.
Very good. So Pandu, how many brothers Pandu has?
Two.
Who are they?
Vidura and Dhritarashtra.
Very good. And so Pandu Putran. So how many children Pandu have?
5.
5. How many
Actually,
children?
they were 6. Karna was born in the Pandavas, but he moved to the Kauravas.
Okay, but he was not Pandu Putra, he's Kunti Putra.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many sons Kunti have?
1,
No. How many?
4.
4. Okay. And what about other 2?
That is Nakul and Sahadev was, I don't know the.
They were son of who? Who is the mother of Nakul and Sahadev?
Pandu's other wife, I forgot her name.
Madri.
Yeah, Madhuri.
Madri and Kunti. Okay, very good. So from Kunti and Pandu, we have Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun. And from Madri, Nakul and Sahadev. But Kunti has extra son before marriage, that was Karna. Okay. But not with Pandu, but Kunti with Surya Dev. Okay. All right. So translation. Gopal, Gopal, go ahead.
The sons of Maharaj Pandu were sitting silently and nearby, overtaken with aftercare for their dying grandfather. Seeing that Bhishmadev was congratulating them with feeling. There were tears and of ecstasy in his eyes, for he was overwhelmed by love and affection.
Faction. Very good. Manhar, can you read the purport?
Yes, Prabhuji. When Maharaj Pandu died, his sons were all small children, and naturally they were brought up under the affection of elderly members of the royal family, specifically by Bhishmadev. Later on, when the Pandavas were grown up, they were cheated by cunning Duryodhana and company. And Bhishmadeva, although he knew that the Pandavas were innocent and were unnecessarily put in trouble, could not take the side of the Pandavas, for most exalted grandsons headed by Maharaj Yudhishthira, sitting very gently at his side, the great warrior grandfather could not check his loving tears, which were automatically flowing from his eyes. He remembered the great tribulation suffered by his most pious grandsons. Certainly, he was the most satisfied man because of Yudhishthira being enthroned in place of Duryodhana, and thus he began to
Congratulate them. Very good. Okay, Manhar, can you say something about what you read?
Okay, so like when Maharaj Pandu died, his sons, the Pandavas, were small children, and Bhishmadeva knew that Pandavas were innocent, but he could not take the side of them.
Okay.
And Prabhuji, can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Pratyush, can you summarize from what you have heard?
Yeah, so basically when Maharaj Pandu died, his like the five Pandavas were they were small, so then they had to Bhishma Dev took them under his care, and then as Duryodhan didn't like Yudhishthira because he thought Yudhishthira was gonna get the crown instead of him. So Bhishma Dev knew that the Pandavas were innocent, and they were like unnecessarily in trouble all the time. But he couldn't take this side of the Pandavas for like some reasons. And he saw when Bhishma Dev saw his most exalted grandsons by Maharaj Yudhishthir, the warrior couldn't Bhishma Dev couldn't he couldn't like control his tears. So yeah.
Very good. Okay. So here Duryodhan, whose father was Duryodhan? Duryodhan's father name?
Dhritarashtra.
How many brothers Duryodhan have?
I think 100.
Yeah, so 100 with him. So 99 other brothers, right?
Yeah.
You remember any one or two name?
One was the Sashan.
Prasad.
Then another one. I don't know. I only know.
Vikarna.
Yeah.
Who's
Okay.
Vikarna?
That's brother of. Does Duryodhan have a sister?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. What is her name? Those who have seen the Mahabharata. Dusala. Dusala. And Dusala married with who? There was one demon. Name? Jaidratha. Is in Mahabharata. If you have seen Mahabharata, comes in Jaidratha. Dusala. Okay. Okay. So we move a little forward here. Okay. So Bhismadev congratulated all the Pandavas, and he was kind of also out of love. Tears were falling from his eyes because, as you said, Pandavas were innocent, and he knew that, but he could not do anything. Okay, so next is number 12. Okay, so now here Bhismadev saying, Aho kastam aho anyayam.
Aho kashtam aho anyayam.
Aho kastam aho anyayam.
Aho kashtam aho anyayam.
Yad yuyam dharma nandanaha.
Yadyuyam dharmanandanaha.
Yad yuyam dharma nandanaha.
Yadyuyam dharmanandanaha.
Jivitum narhata klistam.
Jivitam narahat klishtam.
Jivitum narhata klistam.
Jivitam narahat klishtam.
Vipradharma chutasyaha.
Vipradharma chutashraya.
Vipradharma chutasrayaha.
Chutashraya.
One more time. Aho kastam aho anyayam.
Aho kastam aho anya.
Yad yuyam dharma nandanaha. Jivitum nahartha klistam.
Jivitum naratha klishtam.
Vipradharma chutasrayaha.
Vipradharma chutashraya.
Very good. So now it is your turn to recite.
I can Prabhu.
Okay.
Aho kashtam aho anyayam yadyuyam dharma nandanaha jivitum narhata klistam vipradharma chutashayaha.
Very good. Next.
Aho kashtam aho anyayam yadyuyam dharmanandanaha jivitam narahat klishtam vipradharma chutashraya.
Very good. Next. Who is there? Manhar or Gopal?
Govinda.
Govinda, go ahead.
Okay. Aho kristam aho anyaham yada yagna dharmanandaha jitvam nahata kristam vipura dharma shakrayaha.
Okay. Manhar? He's not there. Who is Rajendra Panda? Anybody know Rajendra? Rajendra, are you there? Rajendra Panda. Okay. Manhar? Nihal? Nobody there.
He's not here.
Okay. So Manhar is Rusab Gopal. Okay. All right. So let's say Manhar is not there.
He's in restroom.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Govinda, can you read this thing? Synonym?
Can you read the translation?
Translation? Okay. Rusab, go ahead and do
I
this.
don't know the synonym.
You want to do translation? Okay. Rusab, can you do the synonym?
Yes, welcome. Aho, oh, kashtam, what terrible sufferings. Aho, oh, anyayam, what terrible injustice. Yat, because, yam, all of you good souls. Dharma nandanaha, sons of religion personified. Jivitam, to remain alive. No, never. Arhata, deserve. Kalishtam, suffering. Vipra, brahmanas. Dharma, piety. Achyuta, God. Ashayaha, being protected by.
Very good. Achyuta, God means Krishna. Another name of Krishna is Achyuta.
My dad's name is Achyuta.
Yeah, never fall down. Okay. Now here it is mentioned Dharma Nandanaha means sons of religious personified. So who are the sons of religious personified? Here refers to
The Pandavas.
Pandavas. Okay. Especially Yudhishthir. Right? Yudhishthir is son of who?
Dharma.
Dharma. Correct. Okay. Vipra, Brahmana. Okay, translation Govinda.
Bhishmadev said, "Oh, what terrible suffering and what terrible inconscience. You good souls suffer for being the son of the religion personified. You did not deserve to remain alive under those terrible
Tribulations.
tribulations. Yet you are protected by the Brahmanas, God, and religion."
This is very important, you have to remember. They are protected by three people, okay? One is Brahmanas, second is God Himself, Krishna, and religion. So, religious principle. In other words, because of these three, they were well protected because they honor Brahmanas, they also have faith in Krishna, and they do the activity religiously. So that's how those Pandavas are protected by Brahmanas, Lord Krishna himself, and religious principle. Okay. All right. Let's say who can read the purport here now?
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay. Maharaj Yudhishthir was disturbed due to the great massacre in the battle of Kurukshetra. Bhishma Dev could understand this, and therefore he spoke first of the terrible sufferings of Maharaj Yudhishthir. He was put into difficulty by injustice only, and the battle of Kurukshetra was fought just to counterattack this justice. Therefore, he should not regret the great massacre. He wanted to point out particularly that they were always protected by the Brahmanas, the Lord, and religious principles. As long as they were protected by these three important items, there was no cause of disappointment. Thus, Bhishma Dev encouraged Maharaj Yudhishthira to dissipate his despondency. As long as a person is fully in cooperation with the wishes of the Lord, guided by the bona fide Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, and strictly following the religious principles, one has no cause for despondency. However, trying the circumstances of life, Bhishma Dev, as one of the authorities in the line, wanted to impress this point upon the Pandavas.
Very good. So, what are the three things mentioned here that protected Pandavas? As long as
It was the Brahmanas, the Lord, and religious principles.
very good. So, let's say, Rusab, do you want to say two things about something from the paragraph?
I just learned that was Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was in difficulty by injustice only, and
Why Maharaj Yudhishthir was disturbed?
because due to the great massacre in the Battle of Kurukshetra.
Okay. Very nice. Govinda, you want to say something about what you have heard?
Yes.
What can you say?
Okay. The Lord guarded by the bones for Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas is the one of the authors in the line wanted to explain his point upon the Pandavas.
Okay, very good. Is Jyotsna there here? Jyotsna?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear this paragraph when Pratyush was reading?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Can you summarize what you have heard?
I heard like that. And so far, that what I've learned so far from this thing is that this purport is that Maharaj Yudhishthir was he was disturbed because everything was like because there was damage because of the massacre and the battle.
Mhm.
And Bhishma Deva, he was consoling him because and he was saying that everything happened because it was by injustice, like there was injustice. So the battle happened to counteract the injustice.
Very good. Now here the statement is made as long as they were protected by these three important items. Do you remember those three important items that they were protected with?
Yes.
What are they?
The Brahmanas, the Lord, and the religious principles.
Very good. Thank you. So they were all Bhismadev as one of the authority wanted to impress this point upon the Pandavas. Okay. So we go to the next one now. And we will recite that verse. So please recite after me. Samsthite atirathe pando.
Samstite ati pando.
Samsthite atirathe pando.
Samstite ati pando.
Prutha bala prajavaduhu.
Prata bala prajavaduhu.
Prutha bala prajavaduhu.
Prata bala prajavaduhu.
Yusmat krute bahun kleshan.
Yusmat krite bahun kleshan.
Yusmat krute bahun kleshan.
Yusmat krite bahun kleshan.
Prapta to kavati muhu.
Prapta
One more time. Samsthite atirathe pando.
samstite atirthe pando.
Prutha bala prajavaduhu.
Prata bala prajavaduhu.
Yusmat krute bahun kleshan.
Yusmat krite bahun kleshan.
Prapta to kavati muhu.
Prapta kavat.
Very good. So now you can decide one by one.
Okay, I can go through.
Okay, please go ahead.
Samstite atirtha pandu Pratabala prajavaduhu Yashmut krite bahan kleshan
Yusmat krute.
Yushmat krite bahan kleshan Prapta tokavati muhu.
Next.
Govinda.
Yes, go ahead.
Samsite ate pandu prata bala plaja vadu yasman krite bahum klashnam prapat. How to spell the word?
Tokavati muhu.
Tokavati muhu.
Very good. Manhar.
Okay. Samthita atirita pando prita Bala Prajavaduhu Yusmat Krite Bahun Kleshan Praptatoka Vati Muha Muhu.
Oh, very good. Josna?
Samstate atirate pando Vritabala prajavaduhu yusmat krite bahun kleshan praptato kavati muhuhu.
Very good. Anybody left?
I can go, Prabhu.
Who is that?
Uh,
Rusab. Okay, Rusab, go ahead.
Samstite atirate pando Rutabala Prajavaduhu Yushmat Krite Bahun Kleshan Praptato Kavati Muhu.
Very good. Anybody? Okay. All right. Manhar, can you read the synonym? Manhar?
Yes, Prabhuji. Samtite after the demise, Atirate of the great general, Pandu, Prithaha, Kunti, Bala Prajaha, having
Bala Praja. Bala Praja.
Bala Prajaha, having young children, Vaduhu, my daughter-in-law, Yusmat Krite, on your account, Bahun, multifarious,
Multifarious. Multifarious. Okay.
Kuleshan, afflictions, Prapta, underwent, Tokavati, in spite of having grown-up boys, Muhuhu, constantly.
Constantly. So here Viswadev wants to say that Tokwati, Kunti, when the children was young, she also went lot of suffering, and when they became grown-up boys, at that time also she suffered a lot. That is what Bhismadev is saying here. Okay, who can read the translation?
I can, Prabhu.
Okay.
As far as my daughter-in-law Kunti is concerned, upon the great general Pandu's death, she became a widow with many children, and
Widow.
yeah,
Widow.
she became a widow with many children, and therefore she suffered greatly. And when you were grown up, she suffered a great deal also because of your actions.
Very good. Who is speaking this? Who is saying this?
Peace, Mother.
Vishmadev. Okay. Josna, can you read the purport?
Yes. The suffering of Kunti Devi are what's that word, Prabhuji?
Doubly muted, doubly lamented.
The sufferings of Kunti Devi are doubly lamented. She
Doubly means
suffered.
both times, like during when the boys were young and when the boys were grown up. That is what it is referring to. Okay.
Oh, okay. The sufferings of Kunti Devi are doubly lamented. She suffered greatly because of early widowhood and to get her minor children brought up in the royal family. And when her children were grown up, she continued to suffer because of her son's actions. So her suffering continued. This means that she was destined to suffer by providence, and this one has to tolerate without being disturbed.
Very good. So can you summarize what you have read?
Yes. Kunti Devi, she's been like suffering for a long time, like before, when the Pandavas were younger and when they were older. So in her destiny, she was the sufferer most of the time.
Very good. While the children were young, why she was suffering?
Because of widowhood, and also because she had to raise them in the royal family.
Very good. And at the same time, uh, his cousins were not in favor of them, right? So she has a hard time to raise them in the palace because Dhritarashtra was ruling at that time, and his son Duryodhan was not favorable to Pandus, right?
Yes.
Okay. And why did they suffer? Why did Kunti suffer when they grown up? When the children grown up, mothers should not suffer, right? But in this case, why it so happened that Kunti has to suffer even when her sons were grown up?
Because she continued to suffer because, like the actions that her sons did, that's why she suffered.
Yeah, because the activities of the children, right? Activities of the grown-up boys, isn't that? Yudhishthir has to go 2 times for gambling. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we pause here. We stop here.
I have a question. What is gambling?
Huh?
What is gambling?
Like you have to do something with money. You have to. It's kind of like trading money.
What is his question? I did not follow it. What did he say?
He said, "What is gambling?" Like
Oh, gambling. Gambling means there is a gambling casino where you go and play with your money with the expectation of getting double 3 times, 4 times like that. But you don't win it. So it's mostly cheating business. So that's why Krishna conscious people do
I
not.
know what Shakini did.
Huh?
He had a cheating match.
What is what?
I know what Shakini power is.
Oh,
What is dice?
okay. So today we'll stop here, everybody. I'll thank you, everyone. And please, next Tuesday, we'll continue from the text 14 now. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Guru. Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Granthara Srimad Bhagwatam ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Rishabh.
ki
Hare
jai.
Krishna Gopal Govind.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Bye, Govinda.
Bye.